I have been seeing a trend recently with Generation Z as a whole, and this is the generation I was born in. And I am seeing the people now growing into adults, seeing them over on the internet and more importantly in real life. I've noticed that even though people praise Gen Z and on the internet, in reality, the way I see them and the way I see them out in the world, they shouldn't be as praised as what we think. And before you click off or dislike, no, let me explain. There is an issue here. Some of Gen Z is doing things correctly, but there are a lot of Gen Zers who are being misled. I want to talk about this in this video, and I really want to bring up the big disparity between Gen Zs that are more right-leaning and left-leaning. And no, I don't want to talk about politics. I just want to talk about the people. The first thing I want to talk about is information overload. Now, what I mean with this is that most of Gen Z consume information more than any other generation ever. But that's the issue. They consume a lot, but that knowledge that they acquire, they do not use it. And most of the knowledge that they think they acquire isn't really true knowledge, because like I had said in the previous video, or it's in my first video, go watch that if you haven't, people believe they know something even seeing a 30-second clip of it, which is incorrect. To know something, you need to know the full aspects of it. Watching something for a few minutes doesn't mean you know shit. Let's just be clear about that. And so even though there is information going around and you speculate that you know something, chances are you probably do not. I want to give examples of what I am talking about. There's a lot of content on the internet which talks about self-improvement, productivity advice, career guidance, relationship advice, financial content, and all of this type of content really doesn't help anyone, because the ones that create this type of content, yes, I'm being a little bit of a hypocrite here, this type of content is literally beneficial for only one person. The person that's creating it. You watching that content is not for anyone. It's not for yourself. It's not for whoever. It's only for that person. For that person to get clicks, views, and the rest. That is literally it. Yet you fall into the trap thinking that you're going to get something out of the video that you watch. Or it might not be a video, it might be something else. But you're not getting anything. Because the other thing is, you're not using the knowledge that you're gaining. Even if it is good knowledge, but you don't know that. Chances are it's complete bullshit, which usually it is. Even if it wasn't, you're not going to use it. The point of it all is that people spend hours learning how to improve, and they don't actually improve. The next point which I want to make, and it is driven straight from the first one, is analysis paralysis. What this means is that you form an opinion about something, but not really, because there's always a different view of the same thing. There's a different opinion, and there's too many opinions, and you cannot make a decision. So this drowns the person that witnesses this, especially if you're in Gen Z, because right now you are either about to become an adult or you're already an adult, and it is where your career starts to become hard to pursue, and you don't know what to pursue. That's the whole point, because you have options, but you don't know what you're doing with it. And this is kind of the same issue I personally had when I was about 18. I had an idea on what I wanted to do, but the issue is I never got to do it quick enough. I had a window of opportunity and I never took it. After that, I did not want it to do much. I did not know what to do. I still have a goal in mind. I still have a dream that I've always wanted to do. But getting to it is much harder now than it ever was for me. But I'm sure that this also goes for a lot of other people. The other part of options and analysis that you take into consideration is, like, maybe you want to start a business and you don't know what to, you don't know what to sell, you don't know what to buy, you don't know what skill to learn. Is another issue. Oftentimes you get shown different options, but you don't know what the best path is. The issue is people usually try to sell you like this perfect idea. You try to mimic it, but you'll never be able to mimic it, because you shouldn't try to strive for perfection. You should just get started. And that is where a lot of people miss opportunities. The next big point I want to mention is entertainment is always available. Previous generations didn't really have that option, and they could in fact get bored at some point. These days, nobody really gets bored. Although that is not entirely true, because people do still get bored, even though they've got so many things they can do. But the thing is, nobody does as much things. People have so much option, but yet they don't take action. And being bored in a way is a good thing, because it allows you to take a step back and think, what can I do with my time that's valuable? Unfortunately, most people of my generation do not take that time to actually think, what can I personally do? Instead, they resort to something like YouTube, TikTok, Netflix, sometimes gaming, but I would say gaming is of the better things that you could do because it at least activates your brain cells. But still, you should be able to think of something else to actually do for your future. And a lot of people do not do that. And this is an issue. Action usually requires enduring boredom. And unfortunately, we do not get bored. But when we do, we usually resort to one of the things that I just mentioned. The other big thing I want to talk about is that people watch success and don't build success. A lot of people, young people of my generation, spend more time observing successful people than actually try to pursue success themselves. And this is a massive issue. You shouldn't be sitting on your phone watching what other people have. And this has been a big trend that's come from many generations ago. It's not just now that this is happening. You'd usually see it on TV and before that on newspaper, people doing successful things. The best type of people on this planet right now that are in my generation are those who do not give a damn about who's successful and who is not. The people that actually know less celebrities are by far the most bright people. And these are the type of people that try to actually do something. But the majority know a bunch of people, but watching and seeing other people succeed is not you. You are not succeeding. You could be in that position. You should give it a go. Why aren't you? People want to watch entrepreneurship videos, which I have never seen a single one of those videos in my life. And I'm planning on not, because I don't give a damn. Unless I want to be educated, I might view one or two, and then I'll pursue it. I'll never just watch the videos. I'll actually do them. A lot of people also follow fitness influencers, which most of them, there is no point to follow. I mean, think about it. Why are you watching them? To get a good exercise in? Once you learn the basics, you're good to go. You just start hitting the gym. And you just continue doing the gym. And you don't give a damn about what everyone else is doing in front of you. I mean, I've been going to the gym for 6 years. And most people consider me pretty built, And I'm proud of myself for doing that. I really am. But I never, ever followed fitness influencers. I think that is a ridiculous idea. And most people that come up to me and ask for advice, I never have once spoken about watch this person or watch that person. All I have said is do what you believe is right, change it up once in a while, and that's it. I obviously give better advice than just that. I'm sugarcoating it here, but you get the point. You do not try to look up to someone. You do it for you. And more than that, a lot of people consume productivity content, which is like, do this so that you're productive. But honestly, you cannot really be productive if you don't know what you're going to be doing because you don't have a purpose. Obviously, I am going to be talking about purpose in another video. So if you are curious to see what that is going to be about, make sure to subscribe and watch the other content I've already put out. They're pretty good. And thank you for that. Another big point, which I see this very frequently, and in fact, I personally am a victim of this in a way, and that is fear of public failure. This is where things are more grey, and I can't really blame someone for being fear of public failure. Everything nowadays is visible online, and people just don't want to look stupid. People don't want to be judged. People don't want to look weak or be imperfect or something. The thing is, everyone's human. You shouldn't be afraid of failure because the reality is nobody gives a shit. Seriously, nobody cares. Honestly, you go on your bus, let's say there's a bus down on the street that you catch, and most people catch that bus. You start yelling in that bus. You think you might get humiliated. Chances are someone won't even record. You get off the bus, and guess what? Within a day, you would have forgotten about it. And guess what? Everyone on that bus would have never even thought that even happened. You have to think of people as NPCs. They literally don't exist with an actual brain. Most people, anyway. There are some people that are actually lively. But honestly, nobody cares. If you look stupid, nobody cares. If you're being afraid of being judged, nobody cares either. Nobody cares about anything. That's why we are the way we are. I mean, if you really think about it, the type of people that exist these days, the weirdos, you know exactly which people I'm talking about. How do you think they got into the position they are now? It's because nobody cared. That's why they are like that. And of course, you look at them with a side eye and you're like, look at this guy. But you say that only to yourself. You don't say that out loud. You don't humiliate them. You don't do anything. You just say that into yourself and then you go on with your day. And they're fine. Nothing happened to them. You just had an opinion. You kept it to yourself and then you moved on. Well, guess what? That thing that you just did, everyone does that. And that is exactly the point of why you should not be afraid of public failure at all. Another point which I want to talk about is something that is kind of similar to a previous point, but it's not exactly the same. It's the productivity trap. And this is where you become obsessed with planning, organizing, optimizing, researching, and you don't actually do any of that stuff. You write it down, you have ideas, but you don't do anything. You don't write, you don't build, you don't practice, you don't sell. You just have the idea, you don't use it. And it's not just Generation Z that's done this. Across history, everyone does this. But I'm saying it now because I see it also in Gen Z. It's not just us, but we do it as well. The cycle hasn't been broken. You shouldn't just plan. And I'm going to make this point towards the end because it's the biggest one I want to talk about, but I'm going to just mention now. Action over words. But I'll be talking about that soon enough. The next biggest trap everyone falls into is comfort. And that's a very simple one to explain. Everyone wants to be comfortable. Nobody wants to take risks. But that's the thing. Take the bloody risk. You have nothing to lose. Seriously. What will happen if you don't take the risk? Nothing. What will happen if you take the risk? Nothing. That's the point. You have nothing to lose. Take the bloody risk. Do something with your life, especially now. If you're in your early to mid-20s, do it. Don't just sit there thinking about it. Just go and bloody do it. Take the risk. Yeah, it's out of your comfort zone. It doesn't matter. You should do it regardless. Life right now is incredibly convenient. You have basically everything you could ever imagine. Why wouldn't you risk your comfort? Why? It's not like you're risking your life. You're just risking a little bit of time. And if that. But unfortunately, people don't want to do it because they might get rejected, because it might be hard, because they're uncertain, or because maybe it'll be repetitive. But for crying out loud, just try it. It doesn't matter that it's a risk. You should make a change. You should do that. Now, the biggest point I want to talk about is one that sums up pretty much the entire video. And that is the biggest issue. And it's probably on the title or on the thumbnail somewhere. Gen Z's biggest issue is lack of action and more words. Specifically, right-wing Gen Z. Unfortunately, the left wing is not in the same boat as much because they actually cause chaos. But for everyone else, guys, do something. Do something. Don't just sit there talking. Do something. Unfortunately, people just don't take action these days. I mean, I saw it with some of the most problematic crimes that have existed. People didn't get infuriated enough. People didn't cause havoc. You're supposed to. This is not call to violence, but you're supposed to do something. You're supposed to live. You're supposed to take action against things that are not right. Yet people don't. People are just sitting there and just talking about it. Yeah, you disagree with it, but what are you doing about it? You expect somebody else to deal with the problem. But the problem is in your hands as well. And because it's not directly affecting you, you're not going out of your comfort zone to deal with it. You're supposed to deal with this. This is why we're in the position we're in currently. This is why so many bad society issues exist right now. This is why so many men are single and lonely these days. It's because of lack of action that's led us to this point. We've been pushed out of society because we didn't say no to certain things. You have to say no. Do not be afraid to say no. And no, you shouldn't care that you're not polite. No, you shouldn't be polite about it. Things have been taken away from us, all of us, that we should have never had that taken away. Majority of it is freedom as a whole. I mean, think about it. Most men are single and lonely. Most men don't even go outside much. Maybe just to the gym and back, or maybe just to whatever degree they're trying to get, like college, university, or work, and then back. This is an issue. And this issue was caused by the fact of inaction. It wasn't entirely our generation that caused it. They didn't start it, but we're continuing it. And then you wonder why such movements exist these days that you definitely dislike, but they exist. And they exist because of inaction. Not your inaction specifically, but inaction as a whole. History is taught to us so that we learn from mistakes that were made by others. Yet we do not learn from those mistakes. And we still are making those same mistakes. And the result is, well, where we are at now. You're listening to this video because you feel like you've done something wrong. But the reality is, it's not that you did something wrong, but you didn't do something right either. You're just there. You need to do something. There's no point me talking about it and you not making something of yourself, because that's the entire point of this video. Bottom line is, make sure to start. Just start. It doesn't matter if you're ready, not ready, whatever. Do something. I do not care if you haven't thought of it well enough. I don't care if it's optimized. Start. If you fail, good. Learn from your mistakes. Do not repeat them. Try again. It's like a video game. You can die in a video game. You need to learn from that mistake and you don't die again the same way. It's the same exact thing, same exact principle. Get off your phone. Get off your computer. Or at least don't watch media. Don't watch videos. Don't watch anything. Just create. You do the stuff for other people to watch, or you do stuff that you can actually achieve something in the end. Nobody's going to help you. You need to help yourself. If you're not motivated, let this video be your motivation. Get up and just do it. I was never motivated to go to the gym. I still went. That's because discipline is a thing. And I know a lot of people talk about discipline and all that. In the end, I don't like the word discipline either. But I just go to the gym. I've got no purpose. I just go for no reason at all. I'm not motivated. I'm not anything. I just go, do my workout, get out of there. You have to do the same thing, and it has to be automatic. Last point is, do not overthink things. Some things definitely require planning, but there is a moment to plan and there's a moment to execute the plan. You need to get to the execution, and you need to get to it quickly. Do not plan for a very long time. I want to talk about personally something that I achieved recently. Still has to do with video. No, there's not some sort of sponsor. I'm not promoting anything. No, this is something personal that has to do with the video. I recently completed my second book, which obviously right now I've not published it, but it is going to get published eventually, as my first book is as well. The thing is, I never knew what to do with this story. I had planned this story in my head, just making it up. Since like the age of like 14, 15, I had created a story in my head. And I never even did anything with it. I never wrote it down, never created a video. I had plans, I made plans, but I never executed them ever. I had to wait almost a decade later to actually move my butt and do something about it. And I wrote down 2 books so far. There's going to be another 6 books. But I'm proud, and even my father has said, which I'm so happy. He said he's proud of me for doing it. And I'm proud of myself for doing it as well. I actually sat down and did the thing that I was wanting to do. Which obviously that was not my end goal. I have more goals in my mind and I might talk about them in the next video. But learn from me. Do not sit waiting for a decade for something to maybe happen or just planning. Just go and do it. That is all for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll talk to you soon, Chads. See you in the next video. Peace.